G'day you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here, and I recently finished reading a particular book. It's about a comedian from the 1950s and the 1960s in America, a man who served in World War II, set a standard for comedy that is still the standard today, and he told jokes for a living for his entire life up until his death. The book is called How to Talk Dirty and Influence People, and it's an autobiography by a gentleman by the name of Lenny Bruce. It really is a fascinating book, and if you're a fan of free speech or comedy, I highly recommend it. You see, I was reading this book just last week. I only just finished it whilst I was travelling around the country doing shows. I was heading up north to do a show in Lismore and a show in Byron Bay. One is a shithole filled with amazing people, and one is an amazing place, a gorgeous, picturesque location filled with fucking assholes. I'll let you know which is which later on in the video. In Lenny Bruce's book, he talks about the multitude of times that he was arrested throughout his stand-up comedy career. You see, he was arrested in America in the 60s and in the 50s, not too long ago at all when you think about it, for making certain sounds with his mouth. He made these sounds and they were so offensive that he was arrested because of them. These sounds we know every single day as words. This man was locked up in a cage because of offensive words. But these sounds that we know as words has left a legacy that lives on with every comedian that is worth their fucking weight, and they have Lenny Bruce to thank for it. You see, Lenny Bruce's act at the time was seen as obscene. He used the word fuck, he said the word tits, he talked about sex and religion, and this was just a big no-go at the time. And in the end, he would pay, ultimately, with his life. In the 1950s and the 1960s, comedians were being arrested because they were too obscene on stage. You could be locked up for standing on stage and saying, hey, how fucking good are tits? Even in the 1960s, Lenny Bruce was banned from performing in Australia because people couldn't handle what he was saying on stage. Lenny Bruce was constantly fighting the system, demanding change, allowing him to talk about whatever he desired and joke about whatever the fuck he wanted to. And the way he did that was he basically gave everyone a big fuck you, and on a nightly basis, he stared jail time directly in the face and said whatever the fuck he wanted to, whatever he thought was funny, and didn't give a fuck about the repercussions. He was enormously popular. And if you'd never heard of Lenny Bruce up until this point, I'm glad you have now. He left behind a legacy for anyone who likes comedians who are a bit dirty or offensive, whether it's Jim Jeffries, Jimmy Carr, Bill Burr, Joan Rivers, Bill Hicks, whoever it happens to be, all the way down the rungs of the ladder to the fucking plebs like me. I have this man, Lenny Bruce, to thank for me having a career. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Lenny Bruce at all or any of those other comedians. I'm only 8 years into my career, and I strive every single show to get better and better, and the biggest fear in my life right now with my career is that when people pay good money to come and see me, I don't deliver. And that's why every single show I'm putting in all of my effort to make sure that everyone gets their money's worth. But ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't help but feel that what was happening to Lenny Bruce back in the Dizzy, on a minute scale, was a little bit happening to me just the other week. In a little town, a shithole called Byron fucking Bay. Byron Bay is a town full of hippies, mad leftists, vegans, vegan cyclists, soy boys, hairy chicks, and worst of all, my foe for this tale, the Byron Bay Community Board on Facebook. This story is fucking outrageous. Strap yourselves in if you haven't heard it. But the irony was palpable. I was reading about one of the greatest comedians of all time being cancelled, and here's poor little old bearded me trying to feed his fucking greyhounds, and Byron Bay's coming hard after me. Fuck you to the moon. You see, this story, it starts 3 years ago. I was a younger man with a 12-inch penis. I was going about my business. I had started my career as a stand-up comedian and I was doing a tour of the country of Australia and I was heading to a little old place that I'd never been before called Byron fucking Bay. Byron was then overrun and still is overrun with soy drinking hippies, dreadlock wearing, pubic hair enthusiasts, and that's just the women. Anyway, the local radio station there, Byron Bay FM, and a particular program called Banter Stand demanded that I be cancelled from the town. They called me every name under the sun. They were so mean, they were so rude, and I made a video about them, you see. And then I decided to attack them, you see. I said they're very rude people, you see. And then some good motherfuckers also called them rude people, you see. And then they lost their show, you see. Fuck you. So I did my show in Byron Bay. It sold out. Everyone fucking loved it. No problems at all. And now, 2.5 years later, I returned to the scene of the crime. And I met with this. Only a few days before, a good motherfucker on Instagram sent me this. The far-right edgelord, which actually is now my pronoun, so please refer to me as that, Isaac Butterfield, is doing a show at the Byron Bay Community Centre. It's a theatre, it's not a fucking... I know it says Community Centre on the front of it, but it's a nice theatre. It's not just some fucking hall, alright? I'm a big deal. On Saturday night, he spreads hate under the guise of comedy. He's made jokes about Jewish people being gassed, Muslims who were killed in the Christchurch attacks, and he hates women! Just giving people a heads up about this hateful human. I love how he just throws in, and he hates women! Firstly, fucking 40% of the crowd and the people who watch my videos are women, alright? And secondly, he's spot fucking on. Can't stand him. This post was posted to the Byron Bay Community Forum, which is full of the biggest whingers in Byron Bay. They freak out about fucking everything. I tell you what, someone mentioned 5G in the comment section and everyone logged off their Facebook page. They had their tinfoil hats on. They jumped into the water and freaked the fuck out. But the comments were shit like this. They were complaining, I assume in this voice. Oh my God! Does the community centre know? That doesn't sound like a good show at all. He is vile. How dare the community centre allow this? One person ever said this, and this fucking upset me. Him or Hannah Gadsby? I know who I'd choose. It's Hannah.
I can't physically throw up in my mouth.
How fucking dare you? But there was one dude who said this. Comedy is great, and comedians should be able to push the envelope. Do you really believe that, big fella? But this guy is gross. His material doesn't just border on hate speech, it firmly jumps over the wall. I can't believe that the community centre would allow him to perform there. This man will remain nameless, okay? He carried on quite a bit. He was throughout the comment section carrying on like an absolute fucking pork chop. But the hilarious thing, after all this happened, let's jump forward a little bit. His son came to the show, fucking loved the show, and then said, do I want to call him after the show, which I did. I got his voicemail, and I said...
G'day Luke. Isaac Butterfield here, mate. How you doing? Listen, I know you don't like me. I know you're pretty big into the community board on Facebook, but I fucking hate you. Bye.
It was great. I'm glad that old mate on Monday morning would have got that voicemail, and I hope I ruined your day, sir. So I read all of these comments and I shared it to my Facebook page, and then all you good motherfuckers went in there and defended my honour. Love yous. And when I shared it, this was the caption. Hey Byron, suck a big old fat cock. And hilariously, that would come back to bite me. This went on for a while. I got angry email after angry DM and all this type of stuff saying that I was a big piece of shit. And then, a phone call. In the car on the way to the Lismore show the night before the Byron show. The car fell silent. We were terrified. What was going to happen? It was a call from the Byron Bay Community Centre Theatre. And the dude basically said, oh, fuck those guys. They whinge about everything. We can't wait for tomorrow night. And that gave me hope that good motherfuckers in Byron Bay still existed. The night before I did a show in Lismore. An amazing show, 400 good motherfuckers in a beautiful old movie theatre that's been kitted out to basically look like the greatest comedy room in the world. It was such a great fucking show. But just before I walk on stage, literally 10 minutes before I go on, I get a notification that I have had an article written about me in the Daily Telegraph. The community backlashes controversial comedian Isaac Big Stinkin' Dick Butterfield scheduled to perform in Byron. Isaac Butterfield's no-holds-barred approach to comedy draws massive crowds. Get tickets now. But his approach was labelled as hateful by the Australian race what? Race car authority? Racing industry? Were jockeys mad at me? That's where the headline ended. And to find out more about that article, you had to pay $1. And there's no fucking chance I'm paying $1 for that dribble. But someone did send me a little clip from the article, and they quoted me. They quoted me once in this article, and here is the quote. Hey Byron, suck a big fat cock. It does look like I said there, but I didn't say there, although I should have said there. They can suck a big fat too. Much worse than cock. But I said goodnight to the Lismore crowd and prepared for Byron the very next day. So, as we prepared to drive into town, I turned my 5G up to full ball. I made sure all my vaccines were up to date just to try and keep those protesters away from me. We come to the edge of town. I get this hilarious photo and caption it with "Fuck Byron Bay." I'm in the town for like 2 hours at this point. I'm keeping a low profile. Who knows who wants to throw their old dreadlocks at me? And then I see two smackies fighting near a train station. That was fun. I got called a white just by some lady who was screaming at people in public. I saw some dude, and this is not a joke, drinking straight out of a large container of soy milk. That fucking terrified me. No one was wearing any shoes, and I saw a little bit of peace and love. That was about it. The hours pass. I'm nervous. Showtime is approaching. We go to the venue, no problems thus far. There is security there. 2 security guards. I say to one of the security guards, I said, "Have you got my back if it all turns to shit?" He said, "Fuck no, I don't get paid enough." I said, "Fair enough." I'm nervous, but it's showtime. And I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't attack the people of Byron Bay. So I go on stage and I say this. Any people here from the Byron Bay Community Board? Yeah! Yeah, couple? I hope you die. Honestly. No, seriously. I genuinely hope that the lighthouse in Byron Bay loses power and a cargo ship runs down the main street and anyone with dreadlocks or soy latte in their little mustaches fucking dies, okay? That's what I want. That's what I want tonight. Well, there you go. It was pretty G-rated. Ladies and gentlemen, the show was marvellous, all right? We packed it out, and thank you very much to the Byron Bay Community Board, because if I'm honest, ticket sales weren't that great in Byron Bay. Turns out they're not my people. But since you carried on like fucking pork chops, I sold an extra 130 tickets because of you. So, ha ha, ha ha ha, fuck you to the moon. I wanted to make this really clear. I make horrible jokes because sometimes we joke about horrible things and it's okay to laugh at them as long as we know that it's a joke. Everyone, and who's anyone, can come to my show. Regardless of what skin colour you have, your gender, your sexual preference, religion, creed, whatever, everyone is welcome. And not only is everyone welcome, but if you come to a show, you'll realise that everyone comes as well. To like a big bukkake party. No, that's not what I meant. What I mean is you will see different people there. And I think that is so wonderful. I love meeting so many different people. That is my favourite part by far of doing these shows, is meeting all of you. Come and see me live. I'm doing an Australian tour. I'll be in New Zealand as well. The ticket link is down below. If I haven't put the tickets on sale yet for your city, make sure you sign up as well. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Keep it moist. Fuck Byron Bay. And I'll see you all very soon. Doodle. Bye.
Hit it, boys.
G'day, you good motherfuckers. How are ya?